It's Hambletonian Day at the Meadowlands on Saturday, August the 8th, and one of the special wagers they have, along with pick fives and pick four guaranteed wagers, is a $109,280 jackpot super high five mandatory payout in race number 14, which happens to be the Sam McKee Memorial Consolation, worth a little over 61,000. There's an 11 horse field, and Matt and I are going to try to break down the race to see if we can come up with a winner in this big carryover wager, which they'll probably get about 250,000 in new money, which means there's going to be about 30 to 40% extra in the pool than normally you would get if you were betting on this wager.
Yeah, I mean, they could get close to maybe 500,000 total pool with, like you said, 250, maybe north of 300,000 new money. I think that would be great. And it's what horse players, especially takeout and value-minded horse players, love these opportunities when these jackpot wagers are forced out, so to speak. So we have an 11-horse field here of mostly hard-knocking, aged veteran horses that a lot of us are familiar with for seeing their names week after week. Tough race, but we're going to give it a shot here. Try to take home this mandatory payout. At least get a piece of the 20-cent jackpot super high five wager. So, without further ado, I will pass it off to you. You're going to tell me who you like, and then I'll probably disagree with you and try to talk you off something.
I doubt you're going to disagree with me. But before we get into who I like, why don't we take a look at last week's Open? Because a bunch of these come out of the Open, including our Major Dan N, who's actually on the lead here, and you're going to try and take them all the way. You can see the fractions, 120, 52.5. That's tough to keep going after that.
Yeah, you know what? I liked him last week, and I did wager on him last weekend. Geez, I think I saw a couple of thoroughbred races at Saratoga last week on the turf that went slower than 25-3 and 52. So I mean, that's just a wicked pace. And you know what? I wasn't so sure that he was completely done either after fending off pressure at the top of the stretch. But the race just kind of fell apart. I guess he can be excused for that. We saw his effort the week prior in the Houghton, where he just went ridiculously, insanely good effort, making multiple moves, challenging for the lead, edging away. As I want to say, your 5-1 best bet, if I'm not mistaken. I hope you cash nicely on that one. I'm still waiting for lunch or something like that. Maybe you could order something and have it delivered to me. But we saw his first start here, where he made a break before the start. At the start, you were confident that Dave Miller would have him figured out, and he sure did get him figured out. Anyway, he's obviously one of the contenders here, assuming that he didn't get burnt too much with last week's race. I assume he's going to be fine. But I'm not going to use him on top exclusively. I do have a simple type ticket, just 2 horses in the first slot, 2 horses in the second slot, kind of like an exacta box. I'm going to use our Major Dan and G's Joe, another horse that got baked in that race, and then try to mess around underneath and try to catch something. But you know what? Ticket structure is obviously very important in these types of races. And I'll admit, I'm not the best at assembling tickets. I try as best I can. I try to read up and get advice from other more successful people, but it's not easy. It always seems easy after the fact. It's not necessarily easy before the fact, but I have an easy play that's only like $33 and change, using 2 logicals on top, and we'll see how it goes. So if you want to dive into your ticket first, by all means, let's get it going.
Yeah, listen, I think that our Major Dan is clearly the horse to beat. I think he's got to be on your tickets because he can't be. I don't see how he's worse than second in this field. The horse I'm keying in on is a bit longer on the morning line odds, and that's Don't Tell Me Again. I think this is a horse who was completely uninvolved last week in the Open, just kind of just sat at the back, paced with the field coming home. If you notice, when he's had Tim Tetrick in the bike, which he gets on Saturday, he's done much better. He was second and a third. This is a high-quality horse who I think this is a great spot for him to shine. I think we're going to see him show early speed in here, and that's why him along with our Major Dan are my 2 tops in here. G's Joe is logical to put into the third spot. Spread it a little bit wider, adding a horse like Jesse Duke, who second. Clearly, this horse is too sharp to leave off any kind of a ticket. That goes without saying. And I threw in Filibuster Hanover because I could kind of see him in his, coming up with one of those efforts where he leaves the gate in this spot. He had the second tier last time, wasn't really involved. I could see them trying to, put him in play here. So he was there. And then I spread a lot wider, and it's an $84 ticket, which might be more than I would normally play on a regular jackpot high five or, a superfecta or anything along those lines. But with the $109,000 carryover, there's so much extra money in the pool. It's worth putting that few extra bucks into it to take a shot.
All right. I mean, I have my top two positions are fairly similar, but I scaled it down significantly. I went with Our Major Dan and G's Joe on top. G's Joe, he got parked out. He got hung to dry by Our Major Dan last week. That was Dan Dubé picking up a catch drive. Marcus Miller is back in the bike. This guy's just been in razor sharp form, and assuming he didn't get too much of the stuffing taken out of him last week, where he understandably retreated after being parked in a 52.5. His form prior to that is just, he's just unquestionably sharp. So I'm going to take essentially what would be a 3-6 exacta box, or a simple trifecta type ticket using Jesse Duke and Don't Tell Me Again in the third spot, and then kind of spread around the fourth and fifth slots. Mentioned Jesse Duke, second in his last 4 starts. Dexter Dunn driving for Chris Ryder barn. Last start of Yonkers, he got parked every step of the mile, and he still held second at 51 mile. 2 back, he missed a neck in 48 and change. I think he's going to be right there at his 10-1 listed morning line. I think he'll take a little bit of action off of that. And also, I'm in total agreement with you on Don't Tell Me Again. Tim Tetry back in the bike, much better spot. He's also listed at 10-1. I suspect he's going to take some play. Spread around in the third slot, namely, you touched on one Ron Burke entry, Filibuster Hanover. I'm also going to throw in Trump Nation, who finally gets a better post to work with after being just lost to the back in 11-horse fields in his last 2 starts. We'll use Delta Winner, another Burke trainee, De Los Cielos Deo, who'll probably be coming on late. And you go to the second tier with San Domino. And then we're going to go in all in the last leg in the fifth spot, because I guess in terms of, if you ask most people about a ticket structure type thing, unless they play strange, funky tickets, I would say most people are going with an all, and it's obviously not too costly, and anything can happen to run fifth. But basically, I'm taking what would be a 4-combination play, if you're playing a try, 3-6 or 3-6 with 1-5, and just stretching it out a bit. But I do like G's Joe and Our Major Dan a lot. Assuming that both of them are still going to remain sharp after being hard used last week. And we'll go from there. Like you said, a lot of fresh money is going to be in the pool. It's going to make for probably about a 0% takeout scenario or something like that when you figure in the factor in the carryover money. And it's always a fun play. It could be frustrating at times, but it's gambling. That's what makes it fun.
One of the great things about, I feel like, is a lot of times you look at these 11-horse fields and these high five, mandatories, and you're like scratching your head. There's like 7 contenders. I feel like you have some legitimate horses you can key in on here. Whether you like G's Joe, Don't Tell Me Again, Our Major Dan, whichever one you decide that you like best, you can key in on that horse, and I think you can make a fairly reasonably priced play and have a good chance to win it. And that, to me, that's good for the bettors, for the common folk who, maybe can't put, $300 into a play. So I like that about this wager. It's race number 14 on the card, $109,000 in the carryover that must be paid out. It's a noon post time on Saturday at the Meadowlands. We have free harness IPPs online. And if you're playing the high five, if you play it with DRF bets, we have a 5% rebate on exotic wagering. So you get 5% back on whatever you put in. So a little bit more cash back for your money. We hope you have a great Hambletonian day at the Meadowlands. Good luck.